Hello gardening friends, welcome back to the Calyx Services Garden. I am Thelma and I'm sitting in our Anthurium corner, which has expanded quite a bit in the last year or so. And as many of you know, Anthurium is one of the more popular of the tropical cut flowers, popular throughout the world. And for those of us who like the cut flowers, we grow it in the garden, but Anthurium is also very well adapted as a potted plant, and it's used to brighten up many indoors. Now, since we've started, we've done about 5 videos on Anthuriums, and in this video, I'll be dealing with a particular type of Anthurium, the Obake. Now, some of you may ask, the what? Well, please keep watching and we will tell you all about Obakes. Thanks for staying, and allow me to introduce Anthurium andrianum Obake, otherwise shortened to the common name Obakes. And I just happen to have actually 3 Obakes right here. This tend to be the most standard shape. You can see it's a much larger flower or spade than most of the other Anthuriums around. It is quite spectacular. And the Obakes usually have a combination of at least 2 or 3 colors on one flower. And in this flower, you see most of it is red, but it has a nice green outer edge. Likewise, well, these 2 are coming from the same plant. This is another example of an Obake. The spade is not as long, but it really does have, this one has 3 colors. The pink veins, the green border, and the general background is cream. Quite spectacular. And the Obakes, they also have the reputation of being very long-lasting as cut flowers, perhaps even more long-lasting than the standard Anthurium bloom. So they do create quite a stir wherever they are. Visitors to the garden usually see the Obakes before they see the others. So we would want to expand our collection of Obakes, and that's what we're going to do in this video, because as it turns out, most of the Obakes are up in the courtyard, and after 2 or so years in pots, they've gotten quite lanky. So yes, they do need, for their own, I guess, beauty, they need to be repotted, but we're taking the opportunity in this video to cut stem segments and repot those as a way to expand our collection. That is, I have a demo set up in the courtyard, so let's get going. Here are the tools and the materials I'll be using. First, a clean, sharp secateur. And to keep it clean between the cuttings, I use cotton wool dipped in rubbing alcohol to do a surface sterilization. The other material is also for sanitizing, and this is hydrogen peroxide. 3% hydrogen peroxide diluted 50%, which means equal parts of hydrogen peroxide and water. And this spray is very handy to surface sterilize cuttings. Gloves for protection. And before handling potting materials, potting mix, which may have manure, it is always wise to use gloves. And very important, when you are formulating your potting mix for Anthurium, please avoid soil. Anthurium prefers a media that is high in organic matter and free draining. This homemade media contains equal parts of cocoa peat chunks and compost. Let's get started. What I'm going to do is put a few of the cuttings on the table, surface sterilize them all at once, then proceed to their repotting. Here are 4 of the cuttings I took about 2 hours ago, and immediately after taking the cuttings, I put them in water so that they remain hydrated. You'll see different size cuttings. This is the smallest one. But importantly, when you're taking a cutting of Anthurium, try to have at least 3 nodes, 3 joints, and roots coming out close to those joints. So this, although a small cutting, has 4 roots. This one is a much larger cutting, and there are quite a few roots, as you can see, coming out there. And other than removing the trash at the lower ends, which could have insects, scale insects. I leave all of the lower leaves because they're not subject to wilting and they're still functional and will assist the plant. So you see, this one has about 4 nodes and quite a few roots. Just prior to putting them in the potting mix, I do surface sterilizing with the hydrogen peroxide and water. Next, I'll select a pot that is large enough to accommodate the size of the cutting. The aim is to be able to bury the stem deep enough into the potting mix so that the plant is properly anchored. Then add potting mix in the bottom third or so of the pot and place the cutting upright in the center of the pot. Continue to fill the pot. When the pot is filled, add some coarsely chopped coconut segments to anchor the plant in place. And the last step, water thoroughly. This is one of the smaller cuttings, and that's why we're using an 8-inch pot, fewer roots. Because this is a smaller cutting, we don't have the same issue with making sure it remains upright. Fill the pot. And finally, water. We completed 6 pots and kept them in this area where there is relatively low light. And this is so that they could recover from the shock of being separated from their mother plant, as well as for them to start growing new roots. Here they are after 8 weeks. This area gets dappled light, and for brief moments on some days it also gets some direct sunlight. We've half submerged the pots in planting holes that are lined with compost and leaf litter. This will help to maintain the aeration and the moisture throughout the rooting zone. And of course, Anthurium loves these conditions. For aesthetics, we've also covered the top of the bed with a layer of gravel. And here they are, all settled into their new home. Well, they look a bit sparse now, I would admit, but that's because we did trim off some of the leaves. But in short order, you can see a bloom on this side. The young shoot is coming up. Likewise, blooms. It wouldn't take them too long to again populate this space. And the fact that they are in a relatively bright light, we should get more blooms from them. In terms of plant nutrition, the manure and compost will supply sufficient nutrients in the early stages. So I'll wait another month or so for the new roots to fully establish before I apply 20-20-20 NPK slow release fertilizer. And I'll repeat this every 2 months. In terms of pests, the main problems are likely to be snails and slugs. And as usual, my remedy for that is physical removal. And there are times when we have to apply the metaldehyde baits. In the dry weather, scales and thrips could also become a problem. We keep a close eye out for that, and our bioneem is what keeps that under control. This is the end of the video in which we showed you how we propagated. We split up our Obakes to expand our collection. We hope you liked this video, that you found the information useful. And if you did, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends. And if you have not subscribed already, we're asking you please to do so, because there's much more information coming on Anthuriums. And at the last minute, here's a lovely Obake. So we'll be covering other aspects of Obake as well as the other Anthuriums we have in the garden. And asking you please to subscribe, press the notification bell so you will not miss when we upload new videos, which we do consistently once a week. So until the next video, I am Thelma in the Courtyard Garden saying thanks for watching, take care, and bye-bye.